Greetings and welcome to your Oracle message for the day. I am Kat Morgan and I welcome you to this video, to this channel, and to this space. This is a timeless reading for the collective, so whenever you come across this video, however you come across it, it's the right time for you to be getting this message. If you haven't already and you feel so inclined to like and or subscribe, comment, or share, this is your channel. The only reason why I'm here is because you're here. So whatever you feel is most correct for you to do, that is what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing anyways, all the time. So, yes, as you have heard numerous times on this channel, if you are a friend and have been here before, if you have not before been here, please feel welcome in this space. What we've been doing is pulling one card every day from the Mega Deck. Every single card that has never been pulled on this channel in any of the decks or any of the readings ever done here, at least. And one card per day in random order, no particular order. And today's card is the Milky Way card representing perspective. And this is from the Earth Magic Oracle Cards deck by Stephen Farmer. And we just recently had a reading about the bigger picture. And I'm not going to tag that onto the back end of this. You are welcome to take a look at that if you haven't already, and take a listen to it even more. But again, being strongly reminded, so this may be something that we are again getting caught up in, maybe multiple things where we're getting lost in the weeds, we're going down the rabbit hole, we're getting just sucked in to arguments and discussions, disputes, and confusion and chaos, and that's not our calling. That's not our purpose. We're not here to be conductors of chaos. We're here to be creators of our reality. So, perspective, yes. We have this beautiful card representing, I'm sure, not just our galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy, but every galaxy in the universe. All solar systems in general are simply galaxies, their own version of Milky Way and their own legends. The Milky Way legend, if you're not familiar with it, I strongly encourage you to take a look at that. It is linked with Hathor in particular in terms of why we call it the Milky Way, and the idea that it's literally like a trail of milk, of sustenance, of nurturing that is surrounding us and available to us all the time. So that's what the Milky Way galaxy, that's how we got the name for it. They thought it looked like a stream of milk spread across the sky. And the ancient people, when they saw that, felt blessed by that abundance, by that nurturing love and support from the universe. And that is part of the bigger picture, part of this perspective that we are being invited and encouraged to consider today and every day. The idea that it's more than just us. It's more than just our little drama, whatever it is, trauma drama. It's not that it's not important. It is absolutely important, and it absolutely needs you to bring your best to the table. So in order to do that, you need to step back, step outside of that chaos, out of that energy, recenter, reground, refocus, recalibrate yourself so that you can see the bigger picture, so you can see everything that is connected to this circumstance, this challenge, whatever it is, or this blessing. It doesn't have to be something that you are working through, trying to find the trying to find the options, trying to find the opportunities in the obstacles, right? Trying to find how to navigate that challenge. It doesn't have to be something like that. It can be something that's a huge blessing, something that is an answer to your prayers, but not being able to fully see how everything is connected with it, you run the risk a lot of times getting your ego kind of in the way and then skewing the perspective so that you can't see the picture in its totality, in an accurate form, to be able to see what's actually going on. So having perspective is crucial if we're not feeling like we're in flow with whatever it is. Positive, negative, neutral, does not matter. If you're feeling that you're out of phase, out of sync with something, this card and this reading is your confirmation that yes, you weren't imagining it, and all you need to do is just remove yourself from that situation emotionally and mentally, and look at it like you would a movie that was playing in front of your eyes, and where you can see the individual frames flashing before you, as well as creating that sense of continuous movement. Being able to understand that that movie has a series of images, and those series of images go together to create this big picture. And without that perspective, we can kind of get stuck in a frame, in a box, within that situation, and not have room to maneuver, to bring our best energy, to bring our best knowledge and wisdom and talents and skills and experience to benefit whatever it is. A challenge is simply that, just a challenge. It's something like water. We are encouraged always flow, to be in flow, ease and flow. It doesn't require us to be always up in arms about something. We don't have to get emotionally attached to a outcome. In fact, we are strongly encouraged to not attach to outcomes in general, that we can still only have our limited perceptions that we have individually. Our individual filters, how we're seeing things, is not the truth. Flat out, it's just not. The truth is, it can be something as simple as your financial situation, whatever it is. The truth is simply you have X amount of money, you have X amount of employment, resources, assets, whatever it is. That's all that is. That's truth. What we do then is we look at that and say, that's positive or negative. I don't have enough, or I've got more than plenty. We start putting our own interpretations on things, and then we get kind of invested in that definition of what we think is happening. Perspective, step back, step outside of that experience, and take a look at the big picture. What else is connected to it? What else is this going to affect immediately, right now, besides me, besides the people that are involved in the situation? Families are not isolated. They have partners. Each of those people have their own individual lives with their own individual friends, their own individual careers. They're always, the circle just expands outward, just like a galaxy, just like the Milky Way. And not recognizing that you need to step back and step outside of those at times, just to make sure that you are seeing everything clearly. So let's take a look at the book and find out what our reading says for today, for Milky Way representing perspective. The Milky Way is said to be one of billions of galaxies in the observable universe. It contains between 200 to 400 billion stars, the one most familiar to us being the Sun or Sol. The oldest star in our galaxy is 13.2 billion years old, said to be nearly as old as the universe itself, and the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Distances are measured in light years, and the Milky Way galaxy is believed to be 100,000 light years in diameter. The enormity and vastness stagger the mind and challenge the imagination. Yet it also gives us some notion of where we are and how we fit in all of this. Considered from this perspective, our usual frame of reference is put to the task. We're faced with a choice of abandoning our myopic vision in favor of seeing and accepting the bigger picture, or we can just allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by a sense of smallness and helplessness. Yet know that we are composed of material from those very stars that inhabit the Milky Way. Thus, we are connected to Earth and the entire universe at all times, in life and in death. You have lost your perspective, so it is time to step back, breathe, and allow yourself to detach in order to gather information from your senses and regain your perspective about the situation. Detachment does not mean that you no longer care. It simply indicates that you are looking at things from a different point of view. It's an outlook that is not clouded by emotions, judgment, or attachment to outcome, but instead maintains a non-reactive awareness of these things. The witness, that internal aspect of yourself that simply observes everything in your life, offers his or her eyes here. Through these lenses of pure awareness, you can examine all aspects of your experiences, physical, emotional, and mental, without denying anything. By doing so, you will come to understand a greater perspective than is typically justified by the ego, which allows you to see what is before you with clear vision and an open mind. And I would just add, and an open heart. So, yes, beautiful reading. I love that. Always an excellent reminder to just maintain perspective. Understand, I think I said this in that previous reading, it's probably not as important as we make it out to be. I mean, there are some things that are critical to our survival. Let's just name those straight up, okay? Air. How long can you live without air? Specifically oxygen and those trace gases that we have in our atmosphere. How long can you live without air? It's probably not longer than 5 to 10 minutes. Some people have very extraordinary abilities to hold their breath, swimmers and that type of thing, but they still have their limits. And it's counted in minutes. Okay, so that's something we absolutely have to have. That's important, air. Okay, so air is important. Water. We can only survive for a limited number of days without water. So a little bit longer than air, but again, keeping in mind that without water, within days, we will die. Our physical bodies will not function without water. So we know air is super important. We know water is super important. Food is the next thing, at least physically, for your physical vessel. You can survive a considerable number of days, sometimes, weeks, months, but at a certain point, after a few months, I'm just saying, even with air, even with water, without food, without some type of nutritional input, our physical vessels will fail. So keeping a perspective, okay, those things are important. Those things are necessary. Our opinion and point of view on any number of things, probably not as important. Things like having a job so that you can pay your bills, that's important. Winning an argument with your boss or coworker, probably not as important. Okay? Whether you need to be right or not, that's something you have to be honest with yourself about. It's something that I have had to learn as a person with experiences in the past that made me become kind of a control freak as an adult, learning to release that, let it go, not have to be right, not have to win, not have to get my way every single time in every single situation, because some things are just not that important in the bigger picture. When we have a bigger perspective, when we step back and take a look at the whole entirety of whatever it is, figure out what is truly important to you. And once you get past survival, then we go into what you absolutely have to have, what is necessary for you emotionally. And that is almost equally as important. Once you have the basics, air, water, food, emotional needs, mental needs are like right up there after that. And you've got to make sure that you are taking care of those aspects, those bodies, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, as well as your physical body. And they each have corresponding things like air and water and food in each of those other aspects that are required, that are important to our survival. Things like companionship and love, being able to share things with somebody, a person, whether it's through online or in person, doesn't make any difference in that aspect as long as we are making that complete connection. But again, having that perspective, stepping back and looking at the big picture, the environment, the entire scenario, situation, circumstance. Okay? So that is our reading for the day. I do hope that it blessed and resonated with you. Feel free to leave any comments if you feel like doing that about your connection with the card, with the reading, with the image, what you may have seen. Got anything different that you feel is important to share with the collective? Feel free to do that, please. Again, this is your channel. The only reason why I'm here is because you're here. So I want to tell you thank you for being here. I love you. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Namaste and ciao for now.